Alright, filament stopped coming out. Check in here. I don't know if you can see that very well. You can probably hear that a lot. But yep, it came out of the top of the block there. Alright. Okay, so here's where I started off. I preheated my PLA to 190. Use whatever you want. But then I took the filament after it preheated and fed it through a little bit so it would squirt out of the nozzle. And it was kind of curling at the end, so that tells me that there may be a particulate of some sort in there. So after you do that, then you extract that piece of filament. And I waited for it to get nice and gooey up there, and I took this cheap 89-cent hardware razor and carefully removed all that junk off there. And it took less than 20 seconds to get all that garbage off of it for the most part. So I'm gonna take this thing apart and I'll get back with you. Alright, finally broke down to it. The easiest way to take the nozzle and the Teflon tube out is to go ahead and preheat your PLA. Again, be careful, it's going to get pretty freaking hot. But yeah, go ahead and preheat that, because this is an aluminum block and that is brass, and that stuff, you could screw it up pretty fast. So take your time with it for sure. But yeah, finally got all this stuff out and I'll get back with you. This nut, this plastic on the end, the way I found to clean it works for me. Don't know if it'll work for you. But you take the nippers they gave you and just get in there one thread at a time. It's tedious, but it works. And then after you get all that done, just back that screw back and forth, or the nut, and that'll help clean off most of it. That last piece, super easy. It's made of steel, so the threads are pretty stout when you work on them like that. This, however, is brass, so you really want to make sure you don't fight and fuss with this. Just take your time to get this stuff off. I mean, I haven't found a really good way to get PLA off yet because it just started. I've been doing some research and I haven't really found anything, so this is just the way that I'm doing it. Probably not the best way in the world, but it is what it is. Alright. Just figured I'd show you a little tip here. Pun intended. But you take an LED flashlight. Not sure if you're going to be able to see it very well. Oh, there you go. And you just cup around it so you can look down inside that tip and you can inspect and make sure that it's good to go. This one looks pretty good. I think I'm going to slap it back together and see how it works. Just thought I'd show you something real quick on putting this thing back together and how to tighten this tube down into the aluminum block. There's a little trick. You want to take this nut, tighten it this way on this block, and then twist it with your finger. I've already pre-tightened this one. I just wanted to let you know in case you didn't know. Okay. On a little note, putting it back together, make sure your temperature sensor is in the block right here, because it will pull out pretty easily. Running like a charm again. No glob on top of the block. That's cool. And it's printing well again. So, yep, that's all you have to do. I'd recommend getting oxyacetylene torch cleaner, tip cleaner, anywhere that sells welding materials, or maybe even Harbor Freight if you have one around you. Tools I used were a blow dart and the supplied tools that came with the kit. Alright, back to printing.